education are not sufficient. They may have been given to him by the minister himself, and it is our view that the minister should come to this house since the matters we are raising are so weighty. And the matters, much as they relate only to co-curricular activities, Mr. Speaker, there are still very weighty matters in the Ministry of Education that we need ample time to be able to get the minister here to answer the question so that we can also be able to ask him directly and see him in the eye if he's going to tell the nation what does not appertain outside there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Melly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with
the issue before the House.
Yes, the issue before the House is very weighty.
Hold your horses.
Yes.
The issue raised by Milemba and supported.
Yes.
Take your seat.
Yes.
You are not here yesterday. Was twofold.
Yes.
Number one, the children have gone to Meru for some activities. Have they been supported financially by the ministry? If not, why? Number two, the capitation money, when it goes to the schools, is it true that education officials in the headquarters of various counties call schools to bring a portion of that money to their offices for purposes that they describe? Members have said several things. So if no money is taken to the offices of education officers, and all these honorable members, and I have no doubt everybody else honorable, are saying such money is paid, then it is up to you to make an inquiry as to why this money is paid, to who, and for what purpose. And if the payment is an irregularity, who do you hold accountable and the redress therefrom? Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much. And I want to say this. It is true that students, as has been said, are having problems. Last year, Honorable Mbui raised a question. And we took it all the way and we inquired. And we found that even teachers who were in provincial regional games in Nakuru and other parts of the country were not paid their dues. We took it up and we took it to the CS then. We even took it to the Principal Secretary. Honorable members of the Education Committee who are here are well aware that we had invited the CS and the Principal Secretary to come before the committee a few days ago, and he has failed to attend. Honorable, he failed to attend, not he failed to attend. Yes. He gave apologies. Honorable Speaker, it will be proper. Yes, as a committee, we'll take an inquiry into it, but at the same time, it is also good that the CS himself appear before the House because he's the principal administrative officer of the sector, because I can't respond to issues that are administrative to the sub-county level. So it will be proper that he comes himself. He'll be able to tell us which officers, which regions, and if there are no officers taking these particular problems, he's the one supposed to explain. However, I think this is a very weighty matter. We shall take an inquiry as an education committee and invite the CS and the PS and all the relevant officers. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oluoji, what was your point of order?
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to confirm that while my daughter is not stranded there, but as a parent, I can confirm that I was asked to pay 23,000 Kenya shillings for my child to participate in the Kenya Music Festival. So this is actually a confirmation that there is something seriously wrong and we need to audit what is actually happening between the money going for capitation and the money that is going back. I can confirm that I was asked to pay 23,000 Kenya shillings.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to confirm that there's a primary school from my constituency, Gororukesa Primary School in Sagante Jaldesa Ward. The head teacher called me that unless he's supported, they are unlikely to attend the music festival in Meru. So we had to chip in to actually fuel the vehicle that was taking the youngsters to that venue. So for that reason, I think there's no point of trying to beat a dead horse. This is a weighty matter, and the committee must be charged to provide answers to this House. If there's not enough funding, then certain activities should not actually be taken up in vain. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Is that Lochakapong or Faisal? Who is the member at the back raising his hand? Is it? Yes. Who? Lekumondare.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this issue of extracurriculum in schools is a very big problem with the parents and the teachers and the students. Mr. Speaker, even the education officials sometimes refuse even children to participate unless the school contributes to that kitty. So it is an issue which the ministry has to address. Otherwise, if we, as members of parliament, we don't support even those children to go and participate, they will not go, and there are no money. It is the parents which contribute for them in every stage, Mr. Speaker, from the sub-county, county, and the region, including what they are doing in Meru. So it is an issue, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Ochanda.
Mike, Mr. Speaker, I've run a very quick math in terms of the monies that we've been talking about. 76 bob per child in a school of around 500 kids is 38,000. This 38,000 is supposed to run the schools from the inter-school at the zonal level, from the zone to the sub-county, then from the sub-county to the county, all through to these levels. It is impossible. It's basically impossible, Mr. Speaker. So this House, we really don't want to preside over the ministry collapsing, or the sector collapsing. We really have to get ways of how to address this, Mr. Speaker.
Kosing.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there's a problem. It is the truth. There's a problem in education, and particularly this money called extracurricular activities. Honorable Speaker, the minister himself must present himself here. There's nobody who carries the responsibility of the minister. I'm sure Honorable, my good friend, is suffering. But there's a problem, Honorable Speaker. And the minister, while watching in Mombasa, had brought up this issue with him, or as my responsibility as MP of Boko South. Speaker, there is a notorious education director in Kapenguria who is collecting this money. It is true, Honorable Speaker, there is a problem in this money. And unless this House takes its responsibility, Speaker, and leads, there is a problem. And therefore, I'm proposing the minister must stop whatever is happening in Mombasa and appear before the House next week, Tuesday, Honorable Speaker. Order that he comes next week, Tuesday. And then we deal with him. Because we cannot allow him, Honorable Speaker, to enjoy himself in Mombasa while our children are suffering in Meru. It cannot work, Honorable Speaker. You have the power, in accordance with Standing Order number 1, Honorable Speaker, order that minister to appear on Tuesday, Honorable Speaker. We deal with him here properly, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
There is no evidence that he's enjoying himself in Mombasa. Yes, Milemba. Member.
Well, I wanted to indicate that one honorable member seems to calculate the money is going to school from a point of body mass. You must know that not all students participate in the games. And then the bigger lump sum is what is used to benefit all the students. But then what I was going to say is that the minister, Honorable Speaker, and I think the Honorable Speaker should have listened to this because it may inform his decision making. Has been sorting to get the CAs for the last several weeks. They have invited him even more than 4 times, and he's not appearing to them. He has been invited to this house by yourself, he has not come. We are dealing with a matter that is just beyond what we think it is. And the chair should be frank enough to indicate that, so that it is only you possibly who can save this country by inviting that minister to this floor. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Honorable members, chair of the committee, you know your authority. You invite, If the invite is not honored, you summon. If the summon is not honored, there are consequences. So you don't need to cry on this floor that minister is not attending to you. You have the instruments of authority in the standing orders, unless you don't know what powers you have. Osoro and Meli, you can see very clearly that you need the minister to come here and explain to the House, more particularly his assertion in the statement that no cent is paid by any school to any education office, and the continuing assertions by members that they know that money is paid to schools and paid back to education offices, a portion of it, for whatever reason. So I direct you to get the minister here on Wednesday to respond to these questions. As we go to the next, allow me to acknowledge St. Teresa's Girls School from Samburu, East Samburu, and St. Patrick Simotuo School from Pokoti South, West Pokot. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House. Now to the questions. Majority Leader, can you bring in the Minister for Interior?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Minister for Interior is not in today. Yeah, I have just received a letter, Honorable Speaker, from, signed by Dr. Raymond Omolo, who is the Principal Secretary. And if you allow me, Honorable Speaker, to just quote that, he says that he acknowledges receipt of the letter inviting him, to, the Cabinet Secretary, to appear before this House on 6th August 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Then it says that regrettably, the date and the time set for the session coincides with a previously arranged high-level full-day security meeting with the Cabinet Secretary will be attending alongside senior security officials. So the PS writes to respectively request a deferment of the scheduled appearance to respond to the parliamentary questions, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the letter is signed and written by the PS. It's becoming a new norm, Honorable Speaker, also, that this House, the letter is dated yesterday, 5th of August. Honorable Speaker, this House summons the minister, because the minister is supposed to appear before this entire plenary, Honorable Speaker, but the response is from the PS. And I think now I leave it to you, Honorable Speaker, from your position to give further guidelines, because if the minister is invited, then it should be actually the minister responding to this House the reasons as to why he shouldn't be appearing, Honorable Speaker, and not the Principal Secretary. In any case, Honorable Speaker, the CS has an obligation to this House, and the PS has an obligation to the specific committees, Honorable Speaker. This is not a committee. This is a plenary. It's a full House. I therefore wish to submit, Honorable Speaker, that we do not have the minister present today, going by this letter, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Osoro, as sitting in the Majority Leader's seat, that letter you have read to the House came to the Speaker's chamber yesterday, and the Speaker declined to excuse the minister from coming to the House today. Remember last week, Wednesday, the same minister was supposed to be here. He didn't show up. His PS wrote to Parliament. The invitations go to the minister, you're right, not to the PS. The PS is a stranger to the matter. I direct you to ensure that on Wednesday at 2:30, the Minister for Interior is here to respond to questions raised by members, failing which summons will issue.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Yes. Next order. Mama Zamzam, what is it? All the clerk.
Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nasikitika sana. Toka mwezi jana kuna shughuli ambayo nimekuwa nayo ama nimekuwa na issue ambayo ni nzito sana, ambayo hata pengine mtu maisha yake yako hatarini, na ilikuwa namuuliza waziri. Lakini kama yeye atakuwa hawezi kuchukulia kwa makini hili jumba, itakuwa natudharaulisha sisi sote. We are representative of the people. Na kama tunakuja hapa na maswali kumuuliza, na yeye anatuma PS wake ambaye pia ukimpigia simu hashiki, ukimwandikia message hajibu, sisi tunawauliza tumeweka kwenye hizo ofisi kufanya kitu gani? Maisha ya kijana yuko hatarini, ameenda kuchukua ID, anaambiwa ID yake ilitoka kitambo na imefanya robbery mahali, mtoto anaozea kule ndani ya seli huko Nyamira. Yeye kama ni mtoto wake angesikia vipi? Mimi nasikia uchungu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lazima waziri aje hapa anielezee mimi mama Mombasa hatma ya yule mtoto, sio mambo ya upuzi kutuma hapa mabarua na PS wao. Hii serikali lazima isonge mbele, wasiweze kumregesha rais nyuma. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Yes, Osoro.
Speaker, I want to take note of the two directions that you've given. You earlier gave the direction of inviting the Minister for Education next week at 2:30 on Wednesday.
Minister for Education is on a very narrow single issue.
Okay.
The children in Meru and the money going to schools and going to officers.
Okay.
It's the only issue. There are no other questions.
So both of them should appear on Wednesday 2:30.
2:30.
Much obliged.
Yes. Yes, Mbui, on the same issue?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just to confirm something, because I have a question that
Yes.
was also to be responded to.
Yes.
And Mr. Speaker, I've seen there's almost 10 questions to the same CS. There's still about 10 questions to the same CS from across, members from across the political divide, which are very, very serious. And Mr. Speaker, several times you've even said that one of the ministries that has a lot of questions that are asked in this house is actually that particular ministry. So, Mr. Speaker, I want the CS to know that even though there is separation of powers, there is interdependence and there is independence. But we must work together to ensure that people get services that they deserve. For him to ignore some, to come to the house 2 times in a row, Mr. Speaker, I think that's unacceptable. And he must know that this house has the power to even get him out of that office, because it is this house that gave him that office. So, Mr. Speaker, let him be warned not to continue ignoring the power of the house.
Yes, Chonga.
Thank you, Speaker. I had a serious issue regarding the CS education that I wanted to point out to you. Apart from what we're talking about, the kids in Meru, we have kids who are in Kakamega, who are on rugby and some other games. One of the schools from Kilifi South, St. Paul Harris Girls, is in Kakamega. They're challenging they are defending their championship for rugby in Kenya. After that, they'll be required to go to South Africa. Already, Speaker, I am the one who's footing the bill for them in Kakamega. What is going to happen if these girls qualify to go to South Africa, yet the ministry, as they are in Kenya, is doing nothing about that? The question that should be asked about to the CS is not about the games that are going on. It's not about the games that are going on in Meru, but also what is going on in Kakamega, more especially for the international games the kids are going to face. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Kerry, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Chonga is raising an issue that's very emotive, and I can see even from his presentation. I was seeking guidance from you, Honorable Speaker. Being a man who understands language, our reference to our children as kids, while we know very well that the kid is the little one of a goat, and we have taken it up as colloquial and made it to be now an established reference to our children, I wanted you to find Honorable Chonga out of order for misusing this word that is not appropriate for children who are in school. He can refer to them as pupils or as learners or as students. But kids, this is the little one, the offspring of a goat or a sheep. Our children are not kids. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sure the reason you are challenging him is because you understood what he said. Yes, Mother.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think you have put it at rest. I think our children have not really complained. But, Mr. Speaker, mine is on the CS in charge of security. Mr. Speaker, 2 times is too many to not appear. And it has been a while. You queue questions, then it takes so long. Mr. Speaker, security issues are emerging issues. Like now, Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you I'm already queuing to ask a question on the pimping of girls in my Mahiu. Children being pimped out as sex slaves, Mr. Speaker.
It was on BBC last evening.
And Mr. Speaker, some of these issues may not wait as long because those women are on camera. They should be arrested and in good time, Mr. Speaker. So maybe just to ride as we queue the questions, that can also be part of the issues that he responds to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Have the pimps been arrested?
No, not yet. And that's what we need to get from the CS, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, there was an elaborate program about it on BBC. Osoro, yes, Honorable Karole Omondi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I want us to go to the next.
Yes, I think we need to interrogate this matter a little further by focusing on the leadership of the House. I think that's where the problem is, or it is in our standing orders. I've seen it takes so long for questions addressed to ministers to be answered in this House. And yet parliamentary practice in other jurisdictions, you ask a question, in 2-3 days, the minister has appeared and answered it. I watched proceedings in the House of Commons in Australia, in Canada. But here, we tend to imagine summoning a minister here requires some ceremony, where we have to wait for 3 weeks, 2 months. We are not serving parliament, and I think it is the failure of the leadership. If it is the majority side that schedules ministerial appearances, let us look at the standing orders. We cannot ask questions, queue for 2 months until the gist of the question has evaporated. The subject matter is no longer relevant. Then the fellow appears here to answer questions. I think there's a fundamental problem
you
on this issue.
You have made the point.
Thank you.
Osoro, you've heard what I've directed. There are many, many questions from your colleagues to Interior, to Education, to Health, and to Roads. Those are the ministries that take the bulk of questions. And when His Excellency the President wrote to the House through the Speaker, requiring us to change our standing orders to allow ministers to come here, it was on the clear understanding that chairmen and chairpersons of committees have limitations in responding to supplementary questions, and that ministers, as those in charge of policy in their ministries, must come here and speak for and on behalf of the government and the people of Kenya. So inform the ministers who have failed us today. The Honorable Gamba at least send a note and an inadequate message through the chairman. The Minister for Interior, this is the second time in a row where they're just flying around letters instead of coming to Parliament. And you yourself have rightly said, you cannot invite the minister and there's a PS response to tell you that the minister is not coming. That is an assault on the dignity of this House. Ensure that next Wednesday, the 2 ministers are here by 2:30. Yes, Carrier.
This is the direction that we have been seeking. Mr. Speaker, is to ask if the direction you're giving could be extended also to appearances before committees, because the same thing that you're seeing in plenary is what is happening in committees. Committees, especially departmental committees, are inviting ministers and PSs, and they are not running short of excuses as to why they should not appear before these committees that have been given powers by the Constitution, our laws, and the standing orders to be doing these periodic reviews of the departments and ministries and agencies that we are superintending over. So, Mr. Speaker, my request is whatever direction you have given should be extended also to the appearance before committees. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
It will be so. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery, I hope the students are still there, Prince Model School from Kilgoris, Narok, Laboso Vision Academy from Kipkelion, Kericho, World of Life School from Sambweni, Kwale, Kabel Comprehensive School from Baringo South, Baringo, and Chukuni School from Kitui West, Kitui. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 8, the Plant Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide a regulatory and institutional framework for the prevention of introduction, establishment, and spread of plant pests, management of plant pests, facilitate safe trade in plants, plant products, and other regulated articles, and for connected purposes. Order number 9, the Capital Markets Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the Capital Markets Act. Order number 10, the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to authorize the issue of a sum of money out of the Equalization Fund and its application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026 to appropriate that sum for certain public basic services and for connected purposes. Order number 11, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, second reading.
Honorable members, is the chair budget here, Atandi? Honorable members, order. Order. The member talking to Tonkei, order. Honorable Meli, take your seat. Honorable members, due to time requirement and the need for counties to get these resources and operate, we must go to order number 11, finish, and move to committee of the whole on the same, so that we finish up with Kara today. Honorable Soro, you know the House Business Committee directed so. Honorable Mili, Honorable Mbui, you are aware of this. We must deal with Kara today at orders number 11 and 12. So, Atandi, you move the bill, and when we finish, we'll be at hand to go into committee of the whole. This is a Senate bill. It's straightforward on the horizontal division of revenue between counties. Have you called out order 11? Yes, Atandi.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for even making that clarification. I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 6 August 2025.
You are not right, Atandi. You are now moving the bill.
Oh, thank you.
So I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, be now read a second time.
Thank you.
Then you move on to make your presentation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, as you have rightfully said, this is a very simple bill which basically is sharing horizontally the county shareable allocation then, to the 47 counties. Honorable Speaker, the bill is very important because it is, supports the devolved system of governance, and it is prepared in accordance with Article 218, 1 sub B of the Constitution. It outlines the equitable share of nationally raised revenue among 47 counties. Honorable Speaker, beyond the revenue allocation, the bill establishes the legal framework for fund transfers from the national government to county revenue funds. It also ensures predictability and legality in disbursements while also setting recurrent ceilings for both the county executive and the county assemblies. Honorable Speaker, the basis for sharing revenue among counties is guided by Article 217 of the Constitution, which provides that Parliament must determine revenue sharing formula every 5 years. Honorable Speaker, on 24th June 2025, Parliament approved the fourth basis for revenue sharing, which will guide successful revenue distribution among 47 counties from this financial year 2025-2026 to 2029-30 financial year. Honorable Speaker, following the successful mediation of the Division Revenue Bill 2025, the County Allocation Revenue Bill 2025 was published in June 2025. Honorable Speaker, the bill proposes an equitable share of 415 billion for the financial year 2025-2026 among the 47 counties. Honorable Speaker, this represents an increase of about 27.6 billion from the Kenya shillings 287.4 billion shared in financial year 2024-2025. Honorable Speaker, the horizontal allocation is based on the fourth basis, which includes the following parameters. 1, baseline allocation. Honorable Speaker, baseline allocation is the amount of... Okay, sorry. Honorable Speaker, the parameters for the fourth basis formula for revenue sharing is based on the following parameters. The first one is base allocation. Base allocation is basically the allocation that was provided for in the financial year 2024-2025, which is 387.425 billion. The second parameter, Honorable Speaker, is affirmative allocation to 12 counties. This is 4.46 billion. And Honorable Speaker, just to explain that there are 12 counties that were identified by this formula. The counties are either too small in terms of population, too small in terms of geographical size. They are also, in terms of population, there are very few people in those counties. And also in terms of poverty index, those counties are not poor. So there was a formula which was decided that those 12 counties, which include Elgeyo Marakwet, Embu, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Lamu, Nyamira, Nyandarua, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and Vihiga, that we needed to, using affirmative action, allocate 4.46 billion, which they are sharing equally, to help them be able to even reserve money for development purposes. Honorable Speaker, the third formula is equitable share. Honorable Speaker, equitable share is 23.115 billion, which this money is distributed according to also the following parameters, which is 1, population, which takes 45% of this allocation, poverty index 12%, geographical size 8%, and basic share 35%. Honorable Speaker, basically, this is really what we are doing here today. And using that formula, if you have the report of the committee, there is a schedule of how this money has been shared among the 47 counties. The 47 counties, the first schedule, you can see that Baringo, for example, is going to receive Baringo is going to receive a total of 7,083,683,384. And if you go through up to the last county, that is West Pokot, is going to receive about 2,426,080. Also, Honorable Speaker, this bill is also setting ceilings for recurrent expenditure for both county assemblies and the county executives. And Honorable Speaker, to note is that the bill has proposed a reduction for recurrent expenditures for county executives from an allocation of 333,733.76 billion in the year 2024-2025 to 23.41 billion in this financial year. Honorable Speaker, county governments have been spending so much money in recurrent expenditures at the expense of development. And it is the decision of the Senate and the Commission on Revenue Allocation that this money be cut. Honorable Speaker, on the other hand, County Allocation Revenue Bill 2025 has proposed an increase in the county assemblies' ceilings. I think there's need for county assemblies to be more active in oversighting county governments, and they've been given additional resources to be able to help them do that. In effect, Honorable Speaker, there's an increase of about 3.57 billion to county assemblies to allow them to be able to effectively discharge their mandate of oversighting county executives. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I would like to move and ask the majority whip to second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this House passed the Division of Revenue Bill, which of course was in concurrence with what the Senate had proposed. The same was assented to, Honorable Speaker, and today we are simply affirming what we passed here previously in the name of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill. The Chairman of Budget has clearly put it as it should be on the formula that has been used in terms of sharing, of course, on the baseline factor, on the affirmative allocation, and also the additional equitable share. We continue urging, even as we say, Honorable Speaker, the county governments to make good use of these amounts and to be accountable. I mean, because we really send huge amounts of money, Honorable Speaker, to the county governments all over, but you hardly see what it does. You know, when you hear, for example, the Honorable Chair has mentioned, as singled out one county called Baringo, and he said that 25-26 for this year, the ceiling, the county assembly ceiling will be about 847 million for this year, Honorable Speaker. And in the executive, it will be about 496 million, Honorable Speaker. So if you put that amount of money, Honorable Speaker, you'll realize that this amount is huge and is too much. You know, we are talking about billions of money going to the counties, Honorable Speaker. We still struggle, and because we've all traversed the country, and we really struggle to see what these county governments do, even with these allocations, Honorable Speaker. We continue urging them that even as we continue sending these monies to the county, Honorable Speaker, that they make good use of it. Our hospitals are still, struggling in terms of medicines, Honorable Speaker. The rural roads are really not passable, especially when the rains happen. But what we see, Honorable Speaker, is a lot of branding and, moving around with groups of people everywhere and having a group that is paid to cheer in funerals, in churches, in functions, all over. And we continue challenging them that please, when you continue challenging the existence of CDF through courts and everything, when CDF can visibly can be seen on what it does, I mean, you really can see classrooms built, you will see students going to school, you will see everything that is being done by CDF. You will see NGAF, a very little amount of money, Honorable Speaker. You will see our gracious ladies, doing a lot with NGAF. You'll actually think it's in billions. When you compare with what these governors get or what these county governments get. So, Honorable Speaker, we continue challenging them on that. And finally, Honorable Speaker, we want to challenge the county assemblies to do their work in terms of oversight. I mean, the problem is, Honorable Speaker, is that the county assemblies, because of lack of autonomy, they tend to be an extended arm of governors. That for them, it's worse that they've got to kneel before a governor. If they don't, a road will not be done before a road will not be done in their wards. Sometimes they are even denied salaries if they don't kneel before governors or even worship them. And that is why you see them moving around and, following governors so that they can at least get something, not only for the welfare of their people, but also 5,000 for their pocket. So, Honorable Speaker, I think I beg to close it at that and say that I second, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the county allocation of revenue bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, be read a second time. Okay, Honorable Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker, sorry. I rise to support the county allocation of revenue bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025. Madam Speaker, as has been said, that after this House passed the division of revenue bill, which determines the amount that will be given out to the counties, then naturally the next phase is to deal with this county allocation of revenue bill, which basically now shares money amongst the counties. And this is a Senate bill that comes to us every year. Now, Madam Speaker, in this particular bill, I have noted, and that's why I decided to make this contribution, that there is a proposal for a budget ceiling for recurrent expenditure. Madam Speaker, that basically means that the monies that are going to the counties, the Senate has made a determination that they must put a ceiling of the amount that they will be able to use for the executive offices and also for the executive at the assembly level. Madam Speaker, this basically means that the amount of money that is available for the executive to spend on tea and mandazi and coffee and travel is limited. Madam Speaker, I looked at this, and at the beginning I had thought that it is a full recurrent expenditure that is being controlled, only to realize it is only a part of it. I propose that going into the future, we may need to limit the amount of money that actually goes to recurrent expenditure, including salaries, including every expenditure basically that is recurrent, so that we can have more money for development. Madam Speaker, there's a lot of counties that spend most of their money on recurrent and very little is left for development. So I think it's important that Senate tries to see how they can limit the amount of money that goes into the total recurrent budget of the county assemblies. And then also going into the future, I think it's important that once we have established how much money remains for development, that we find a way, and Senate can borrow from NGCDF Act, to find a way of controlling the funds that are going for development, so that by the time they're being released, we know how much is going to, which project and how it is going to be carried out. Because, Madam Speaker, a lot of times, you look at the monies that are going to the counties, and you compare with the monies that are given to the constituencies, which is a small amount of money. And yet you can see visible projects that are impacting on the lives of people at the constituency level. Yet the counties with billions, you hardly see anything that is positive. So, Madam Speaker, I think we must find a way of making the money that goes to the counties visible for the sake of Kenyan people. Otherwise, I support Madam Speaker.
Honorable Zanzam and then Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kuunga mkono pesa ambazo zimeongezewa katika county government za kufanya maendeleo. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi kitu ambacho nataka kusema na niwaambie county governments, acheni vita vya kupiga wabunge, kuzuia CDF, kuzuia NGAF, wakati ambapo bunge hili ndio linawapa nyinyi pesa za kuweza kurun county. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka kusema na ujasiri. Najua siku nyingi nikizungumza huwa natumiwa watu wakanitupia mawe, lakini mimi ni mwakilishi wa wananchi wa Mombasa na lazima nizungumze. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa mfano tu jana nimeangalia hawa wa CHPs Hapa tulipitisha wanapewa 2,500, county government pia wanawapa 2,500. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, katika county government ya Mombasa kuna ambao wanalia toka hizi pesa zimeanza kutolewa hawajawahi kupata, na they are active members. Wanazunguka wakitibu wagonjwa, wakibeba wagonjwa, yani yale maradhi hata wanaweza wakaambukizwa wakati wowote Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini zile pesa hawapati. Na ndio mimi nataka kuelezea county governments. Hizi pesa tunawapa kwa sababu tunaheshimu ugatuzi. Tunataka ugatuzi ufanye kazi kama vile baba Raila Amolo Odinga amesema. Na amewatetea sana ili muweze kuongezewa mpate nafasi ya kufanya kazi. Lakini msimuaibishe baba kwa sababu sisi hatuoni kazi kubwa ambayo mnafanya ndani ya county governments. MCS huku wanalia hakuna kitu kama alivyosema ndugu yangu Osoro. Watu wanawafuata wanataka hii wanataka hii, lakini sisi tunataka tuone value ya hii pesa ambayo sisi tunawapa. Tunataka kuona huduma bora katika hospitali zetu. Tunataka kuona huduma bora katika ECD schools zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, haiwezekani pesa ambazo sisi tunawapa ni nyingi sana, lakini ukitembea ground kila mtu analia, hatuoni ile uzito wa ile pesa ambayo inakwenda katika county government. Na nilizungumza juu ya hospitali hapa Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali zote za Kenya za public Mheshimiwa Spika, huduma iko mbaya. Na ndio juzi na jana dada yetu Chege aliweza kuleta ile motion yake ama bill ya universal healthcare ili watu wote wapate huduma bora ya afya ndani ya hospitali. Lakini sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, ikiwa hata hii ambao tunawapa unapata hospitali hali ziko ndio hivyo, hakuna dawa, hakuna mashini, mtu anatumwa katika hospitali ya private aende akapime ugonjwa Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati ambapo pesa nyingi sana zinakwenda kule county government ziweze kufanya kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nitarudia kusema wasiregeshe ruwaza ya rais chini Mheshimiwa Spika, manake watu wote watakao wakisema Kenya iko mbaya, maisha mabaya, hospitali hakuna dawa, sijui tumetumwa hii na hii, wanamlaumu rais wakati ambapo bunge hili limepitisha pesa na zimekwenda kule county government. Sisi tunataka tuone hizo pesa zikifanya kazi, wala hatusemi kwa ubaya kwa kuwachukia. Tunasema kwa sababu na sisi ni wabunge, tumetumwa katika bunge hili na hawa wananchi ambao wanahitaji huduma. Mheshimiwa Spika, wawache vita ya kupiga women reps, wawache vita ya kupigana na wabunge, waangalie kazi zao na wabunge waangalie kazi zao. La sivyo na sisi pia bunge hili ndo linatoa na bunge hili ndo litachukua. Wakianza vita na sisi hapa Mheshimiwa Spika, pia tuna uwezo wa sisi pia kuwapokonya kama mbaya Mheshimiwa Spika, kwani iko nini? Watu heshimu na sisi tuheshimu. Hiyo ndio vile Kenya itakwenda mbele. Tunataka hawa watoto wakisoma wawe katika mazingira mazuri Mheshimiwa Spika. Mtoto akienda hospitali apate matibabu. Mama mjamzito akienda hospitali isiwe mama anajifungua amelipa SHA tena anaambiwa mtoto analipishwa na wewe unalipishwa portion hii, hujui hiyo pesa inaenda wapi Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati rais amesema SHA lazima ifanye kazi na wao wanamregesha nyuma Mheshimiwa Spika. Waache utapeli katika makaunti, waache wizi katika kaunti zetu, wachape kazi ili Kenya iweze kuendelea mbele. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Okay, last one, Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I wish to support the bill, but I will not, in quote, lima, the way Zamzam has limaed. I would want to say that when the father of devolution promoted devolution, the idea was for a devolution of resources and services. Unfortunately, what we are increasingly seeing is devolution of power, devolution of nepotism, devolution of corruption. And what I'd want to encourage a lot of our counties, I'm not saying it affects all counties, but I'd want to encourage our counties that this is a very rare opportunity, especially for counties that have been marginalized for years. It is a time to transform our own counties. Nobody will transform our counties for us. We have just come from a requiem mass for Honorable Phoebe Asio. And what we have seen is a legacy of a life well lived. When you will die, nobody will bury you with the storied buildings that you have bought, with the cars that you have bought. It is what you have done to transform people's lives. So I want to encourage our governors that do work that will transform lives, that years after you are gone, people can say, the way people say about Tomboya airlifts, that actually resulted in the first black African-American president. Now, that is something we can talk about today. But nobody cares about what you can build. If you build a mansion, next year somebody will build another one which is better with a better design. Let us live like birds. Madam Speaker, my father was a politician, an elected politician, and people called him a bird. And I used to wonder why. He was called Odhiambo Winyo. And I wondered why. And over time, I've understood why. Because my father never amassed wealth, even though he had the opportunity to do so. Because his concern was building a legacy. Unfortunately, he died too young, so he didn't build his legacy. But I am working on building his own legacy, plus my own legacy. And also, one other thing I want to actually encourage our governors is that what I can guarantee you, that even if CDF were to be stopped, the money that goes to CDF is a national government portion. It can never go to the counties. And I want to also inform the governors, and I'm glad that we're having a conference next week. God willing, I'll get an opportunity to speak there. And I want to say that for me, I can say some of the things, legacies I can say, that the 15% that is going to the counties, I am the one who moved for that 15%. So that 15% is going down courtesy of me when I sat in the Constitution, the Select Committee on the Constitution. Our party had wanted 40%, but we didn't manage 40%, and it was going to be left open, and I moved an amendment to bring no less than 15%. But that 15%, if you compare with what MPs are getting, or not MPs, but CDF, what we are oversighting under CDF, 0.4%, really. There is so much that can be done with the resources that go to the county. There is so much, it is actually something that can transform a whole small shopping center to a city. But our focus and our priorities are just lopsided. And I want, therefore, to encourage our governors, stop focusing on the wrong thing, which is fighting NGCDF, that is helping a lot of poor Kenyans. My constituency is a rural constituency. And Madam Speaker, I can attest to the fact that for the longest, all I knew is that rural constituencies, the structures were matope, mud walled, or the improved ones were mabati structures. But now go to almost virtually every constituency. Even where it is not yet completed or done, you will see people singling out one or two that is not yet done. But they will single one or two. But out of that, maybe 100 of them will be permanent structures that have been constructed by NGCDF. Finally, Madam Speaker, I want to say that NGCDF is something good that has come out of Africa. It is a development model that must be emulated in every single part of Africa. Every time Africa does something good, we try to put a reverse gear so that Africa can always wallow in poverty, always going to the West with bowls to beg. Where we have reached as a continent, we have no excuse complaining about colonization. By the time I was born, colonialism had ended. Why are we crying many, many years later? Even if we are poor and even if we are colonized, can't we change our story? Can we be crying all our lives? And NGCDF as a model is enabling us to change that story. So we have no reason to attack NGCDF. I'm not telling him off. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know Honorable Kaluma, my neighbor in Homa Bay, wants me to tell off our advocate. But it is his right to take the matter to court. And it is also our right and duty to let him know that in constituencies like mine that have been marginalized for years, that have never seen structures for years, have been transformed because of the structures that have been built. Go to Waondo TTI in my constituency. Within a year, it was a small center where my brother TJ Kajwang's home is. It's a rural area. Suddenly, it has become a commercial center within 1 year because of a TTI. We are hopefully opening a KMTC, 100% funded by NGCDF in this little town. And it is going to be a game changer. So those who really, I know it's a bit of a misunderstanding about NGCDF, but I hope we can talk to each other, persuade each other, and move together. I do support.
Thank you. Last, Honorable Wangare, member for Gilgil.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. And I'll just start from where my minority whip has stopped and say that I actually don't think it's a misunderstanding. I think it's a deliberate effort to actually curtail the few projects that are actually visible on the ground and in the grassroots that are sponsored through NGCDF and also through GAF, Madam Speaker, because GAF is very small money. If you look at it, it is less than 6 million per constituency, but you'll go to my constituency and find a tent, you'll find the social things that are helping women done through GAF. Madam Speaker, the issue of this bill, which I also support, but we support and also remember to send this message very clearly, that there are few roles the county government should actually focus on. Number one being health. Because even as we do SHA and SHIF registration, as we discuss universal health coverage, without the synergy from the county governments, then it becomes an exercise in futility. The reason I say that, Madam Speaker, is because all the primary level, all the primary care is under the county governments. That is why it has always been my view that the county government should actually endeavor to ensure that every place there is a dispensary, there is a health center, we are able to deal with the issues of diarrhea, issues of ARVs, issues of immunization of children, Madam Speaker, so that we are able to take referral cases to the referral hospitals and the bigger hospitals, Madam Speaker. Every day, I don't think there's a member of this House who does not get complaints about the health centers in my constituency. I know I hear people in Gilgil Hospital suffering, Madam Speaker. People in other small hospitals also suffering, Madam Speaker. If the governors could be able to deal with this, then would have gone a long way. The other part, Madam Speaker, is the issue of rural roads. I know we have had a lot of push and pull on this, but recently this money has been disbursed from the Kenya Roads Board to the counties. And I know Nakuru had the highest amount of money on roads, 183 billion, but Madam Speaker, the roads that are called county roads are impassable, and in fact, you don't even need to ask which road belongs to Kera. You can tell by just looking at those roads, Madam Speaker. And it is terrible that even in towns where they should be maintained, it becomes a problem. Madam Speaker, the other issue, governors must also be able to stick to their primary mandates, Madam Speaker. The issue of bursaries, I know we are trying to plug into it and offer bursaries, Madam Speaker, but in education, the two things that are properly allocated under Schedule 4, it is the ECDs and the polytechnics. But Madam Speaker, by now, all ECDs should be free. Have you tried to enroll a child in an ECD, Madam Speaker? It is not cheap, it is not free, even in the primary, even in the government institutions, Madam Speaker. So before the governors can be able to deal with these other bursaries in secondary schools and duplicate what CDF is doing and others, can we deal with ECDs first? Ensure that they are free, and also ensure there is free porridge or free food, Madam Speaker, because that is the foundation of our children. Madam Speaker, if you look at the amount of CDF that is going to 290 constituencies, it is just about 50 or so billion. If you compare the same with 400 or so billion, it surely is a drop in the ocean. I wish we can have more accountability, but as Honorable Mbowe said, there is reluctance of getting a law like the NGCDF law, because I feel like the people who should do it want to be governors, and they enjoy the mess. They enjoy the mess because when there is no that law to show how much goes to CD, how much goes to bursary, how much goes to the health, then they benefit in terms of corruption. So it is actually a deliberate effort not to have that law, Madam Speaker. So I hope that we can be able to deal with that. And the other issue, Madam Speaker, we must deal with. The Senate is obsessed by calling the CSs to answer questions, yet they know they have no constitutional role at all, even to bring a censure motion, Madam Speaker. I wish the Senate can be able to do their role and ensure the oversight of these monies so that we have value for money, and the monies that go to the counties, Madam Speaker, are put into good use. The other issue we will have to deal with, Madam Speaker, as I wind up, is the issue of governors running again to be senators immediately after election and subverging the same accountability and oversight that we speak about. The same thing we are dealing with now by senators wanting to be governors. That is where the problem is, Madam Speaker. So those are political problems to have political solutions. But for now, I support and I hope that we can be able to see more than we are seeing from the county governments. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Bondo, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to do this very fast. Number one, Madam Speaker, is the whole issue of the parameters that we are using in terms of allocating these revenues. We've not done one critical thing, or the Senate has not done one very critical thing in terms of costing of these functions. We've not done it since the beginning. We have not done it now. And I think it's one critical thing that needs to be done. So that when we are placing money, we place resources where functions are. You don't want to place resources to a county which has also not costed properly their functions. If, for example, in health, if you look at health, average, you look at a constituency, realize that a constituency has around 15 health facilities. And if you check through in terms of what happens in these 15 health facilities, compared even to the number of schools that are in that constituency in relation to what we do, is peanuts, Madam Speaker. So I think this is something that is very critical that needs to be looked at, costing of these functions. And that goes also to what we have, even in this bill. The clause 6, or the clause 6 that they have placed, they're talking about taking functions back to the national government from the counties that are supposed to be based on some county, some kind of costing. I don't know whether the Senate is able to give us, after a period of time, how many counties have transferred some of their functions back to the national government, and how many were able also to transfer back the money that were initially given to them when the functions were not yet transferred. So, Madam Speaker, this I think is very critical that we need to look at it, and the Senate needs to come out very clearly in terms of the issues of costing of these functions. The Constitution reposits the functions clearly, but their costing is a totally different matter that needs to be practical, and that's exactly, we need to be placing money where functions are able to be done based on properly costed arrangements. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Carolio Mondi.
Thank you very much.
Please press the intervention button if you want to contribute to
I thought
this.
I did.
No, you may proceed, but for the others,
okay.
Press the intervention button.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise to build on what Honorable Mbui had said. I think this should be the last time we are having a revenue sharing bill that does not contain a clear demarcation of to the limits that county governments can spend on recurrent expenditure. I think it is becoming irresponsible of this House and Senate as well to just be sending money and the public is not seeing any use of the resources that run into trillions that have so far been disbursed to the counties. I think as a House, we now need to develop a new model, and I'll be proposing amendments to the PFM Act so that all the funds, be they equalization funds or shareable revenue that we disburse to the counties, have limits in terms of what can be spent on recurrent expenditure, which we will propose will be a maximum of 30%. That would also include emergency funding, with the 70% being disbursed on the basis of advanced budgets. In other words, with codes, with projects, with constituencies, with wards, and with locations and sub-locations, so that we can save devolution from the greed and the incompetence that we see in our county governments. If we don't do that, there'll be no devolution in 10 years. Honorable Speaker, it is also time that we call out the Senate. There's so much money being spent on illegalities by counties. Why are counties financing bursaries, yet education is not devolved, except for ECD? And do you give ECD children bursaries? It's not clear to me why any county government should be spending money on bursaries. I've also come to learn, to my horror, that county governments are spending a lot of money on funerals. On funerals. And I don't know what line of expenditure in the estimates this is that empowers or gives the governors powers to spend money on private funerals. I'm also aware that counties are spending a lot of money maintaining cheering squads under the guise of public participation. Surely, we cannot be supporting this kind of mismanagement of public resources year in, year out. So I would like to encourage this House that next year we should have amended the Public Finance Management Act and saved devolution. Also, Honorable Speaker, we have this issue of NGCDF. There are some well-known lawyers, but they're basically busybodies who everything they touch normally fails. I hear people are reluctant to mention some of them. But somebody has gone to court challenging the proposed NGCDF bill. The only comfort I can give this House is that this fellow, his name is called Paul Mwangi, he happens to have been my yearmate at the university, everything he touches fails. That is the comfort I can give this House. He was in BBI, it failed. He was in a lot of ODM petitions, they all failed. So I can assure you, even this one will fail, because I know him. Yeah, I know him very well. I even have a matter with him in court. He has refused to show up because it is going to fail. So let us not spend too much time worrying about Paul Mwangi. He will go far, very far indeed, but in the wrong direction, like he always does. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Dido Raso. And honorable members, I think we can have the debates as we go into the committee, even in the committee, so that we can shorten the time for comments and also reduce contributions, so that we continue into the committee also. We'll still have the opportunity to make our contributions. Honorable Dido Raso.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this bill. And on the onset, I want to say that devolution, as Honorable Millie Odhiambo explained very ably, is about devolving resources and services to the people. And today, in this country, the only devolved resources that Kenyans are able to put their finger on is NGCDF and NGAF. That is meager resources that are in the purview of the members who sit in this House. But the billions that go to our counties, actually there is no story to tell about them. Today, when ministers or even president visits our counties or constituencies, the only projects that can be commissioned are those projects that belong to the national government or those projects that are done by national government CDF. Honorable Speaker, looking through this list, I come from the county of Marsabit, and I'm really saddened to know that with all these resources, the workers in Marsabit County sometimes go 2, 3 months, 4 months without receiving their salary. And the question I beg is, are these counties not receiving their full remit of their allocation? There are things like hospitals or medical. Most of the people of Marsabit, today you'll find them in Meru, in Embu, or even in Kenyatta. Then you ask yourself, what is happening to those money allocated that are meant for medical support for our people when they are supposed to have a level 6 hospital in the county of Marsabit? Honorable Speaker, what we need to ask, even at the national level, the idea of wastage and corruption through the COB or through Auditor General, people must be put on notice so that cases of corruption in counties should not be entertained. People should have their day in court. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy to note the issue of poverty index as part of the criteria for allocation. What we must get on a yearly basis, and this I want to direct to the chairman of budget, is we must get a report. What is the improvement in the county of Homa Bay, in the county of Marsabit, in the county of Lamu? On a yearly basis, people cannot be permanently poor when they are being given resources. Are those resources helping the people to improve their lives? Honorable Speaker, finally, it is this issue of grants. There are monies that come from World Bank, African Development Bank, and several development partners that go to our counties. What we are slowly discovering, the main resources allocated from the center by the national government appears not to be visible, but governors are hanging onto these other resources that are given by development partners. So the question we must be asking is, who is oversighting these funds that actually directly leave the treasury and go to our counties to support agriculture, to support education, and all the different sectors without full purview of this House? Honorable Speaker, finally, around this country, I occasionally go to Kenyatta National Hospital, and I ask myself, why is this hospital so congested that you cannot have the chance to use the lift because there are so many people? And even if you are using the staircases, actually sometimes you fear. Then the answer is a lot of referrals that are coming from our counties is because most of the county medical infrastructure has collapsed. And Kenyatta Hospital has all of a sudden become the first hospital of choice. And we must depart from that. Are we giving Kenyatta National Hospital enough money to actually accommodate all Kenyans when they are in need of medical assistance? Finally, it is this case of recurrent expenditure. What I learned in economics, if you want to build, and it has to apply to our counties, we did not devolve employment. We did not devolve expenditure or money used in a thrift way, just for entertainment. So what the national budget system from this house and even from the Treasury must push is to make sure that the 30-70 principle must begin to apply. Because unless we are going into that direction, then counties will just be a place for employment, a place for entertainment of the governors and his system of cartels. And for me, in fact, when I look at this breakdown, going forward, we must ask ourselves the real question. When we have a president who moves around the world, asking for all kinds of support, and those resources that are devolved is not reaching the people, then we must ask the hard questions that are we working in vain? With those remarks, I want to say that I support this, and thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Didoraso. The Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu. And honorable members, it would be good, because we are dealing with Kara, that you also read to the public what each county is getting and what they got last year. So that the people know how much money we are sending to our counties and can also help in their oversight. Dr. Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will not take long. Just want to say that I support this Kara bill, Honorable Speaker. And as a way of starting what you've said, my own county, Kitui, will be getting 11.5 billion this financial year. So, Honorable Speaker, those are quite some substantial resources. And I agree with the colleagues who are saying, if used to well, they improve the lives of our people. But, Honorable Speaker, on this bill, two issues. The first issue is it's important that we try to agree on how much is used on recurrent. And I think that attempt has been done in this bill. It indicates how much should go to the county assemblies and how much should go to the executive, the county executive. It's on the basis of that, Honorable Speaker, you realize that the county assemblies have a higher figure in terms of recurrent when you compare with the executive. And basically because most of the work they do is like what we do here. Most of our expenditure in the National Assembly is recurrent in nature. So it is expected they also do the same. The second point, Honorable Speaker, is I agree with colleagues who are saying the Senate has much more to do. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the time we did costing of the functions, county functions, that was 2013, around 2013, 2011, through the then transitional authority, which was there then, Honorable Speaker. Since then, no updated costing of function has been done. And some functions have not been costed at all, Honorable Speaker. So it means even as we budget for the counties, as we give them this money, it is still not clear how much is required for a county to offer the services we expect of them. I do agree with the colleagues that there is a bit of misdirection. But even in addition to that, I think if we want to help the counties through devolution, Honorable Speaker, it is important we get updated costing of the county functions. In that case, we'll be helping the counties. The second point, as I sit down, Honorable Speaker, is the formula, the fourth generation formula, the one we are using now, Honorable Speaker, has once more pushed population to 45% again, Honorable Speaker. And what this thing doing is that the allocating factor, Honorable Speaker, gives a lot of weight to population. Honorable Speaker, what this has done to us as a country, it has taken us back to the seasonal paper number 1 of 1965. So there's going to be serious marginalization of some of the counties. I wish it was possible, Honorable Speaker, that we are able to have some affirmative fund to take care of those counties which are marginalized, just the same way we have equalization fund. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, listening to the top economists in this country speaking, the Honorable Makali Mulu, and supporting this debate, Honorable Speaker, I rise on standing order number 95, seeking that we quickly allocate the counties the money they deserve, especially Kakamega, which is going to get about 13.6 billion. Let it get it fast enough so that we move into the next cycle, Honorable Speaker. So I call on the mover to reply on that basis, Honorable Speaker.
You have no power to call the mover to reply, Honorable Wangwe. As per procedure, I want to put the question that the mover be called to reply. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, before I reply, let me take this opportunity to thank members for engaging in this debate vigorously, and also to say that I have listened to your submissions, especially those who are asking the value for money for the people of Kenya by county governments. I want to agree with them that indeed there's so much that counties can do which they are not doing. Honorable Speaker, with those so many remarks, I beg to reply. Who's the question?
Yeah, honorable members, I'm putting the question on the second reading of the matter appearing under order number 11. I therefore put the question, County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2025, be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2025-2026 financial year, the responsibilities of national and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members. Honorable members, on your feet, take your seats. We are now in the Committee of the Whole House for the consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025.
Clause 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
No amendments. I will therefore propose the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. I put the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
Still no amendment. I propose the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. I now put the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. We have come to the end. Let's get the mover to move reporting.
I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Very well. I therefore put the question that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
The chairperson to report to the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, and approved the same without amendments.
The mover move agreement with the report.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025. I also request Honorable Mushira to second the motion.
Honorable Mushira.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? Honorable members, I'll then put the question. This House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. The mover to move third reading.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, be now read at that time. I also request the Honorable Makali Mulu to second.
The Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu.
I do second.
And honorable members, I propose the question that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, be now read a third time. No interest. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? Then honorable members have confirmed we have quorum present in the House for purposes of making a decision. I therefore put the question that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2025, be now read a third time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many are as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2025-2026 financial year, the responsibilities of national and county governments pursuant to such allocations and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 13, the County Government's Additional Allocations number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 8 of 2025, second reading.
Mover, the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to request that this bill be deferred to another date. Yes.
Mover, I'm waiting for you to justify. You are requesting that we defer transacting this business listed on the order paper to a future date.
Honorable Speaker, the Budget and Appropriations Committee has not yet considered this bill, and therefore we want to request that this bill be deferred to a later date.
The Honorable Kangogo Bowen, what is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I just want to seek your indulgence on the if it is procedural right that the Honorable Chair of Budget can just stand up and to defer a motion which is already in the order paper without, prior writing to the Speaker, for the Speaker to inform the House that this the business is not going to be transacted.
The Honorable Kangogo Bowen, the request has been made to the Speaker, and he cannot replace the Speaker and start deciding it. The Speaker will accede to your request, hoping that the next time this particular matter is listed, it will be transacted due to the seriousness of the issue it is dealing with. We also understand the Budget and Appropriations Committee was engaged on other important national duties in the recent past and even currently. So because you've transacted the previous matter, we will accede to your request now, hoping it does not prejudice the resourcing of these important activities at the county. Next order.
Order number 14, motion, consideration of the fourth report of the examination of financial statements for selected state corporations, resumption of debate.
The mover was moving, and Honorable Wangwe, I'm informed you have up to 55 minutes. So proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to appreciate you. Right from yesterday, you are on top of this motion, Honorable Speaker, on this report, and I want to appreciate that you gave me time to commence from yesterday to today. I want to begin from where I left yesterday, Honorable Speaker, and I had just made a proposal to the House, Honorable Speaker, on the generalities that apply across the 5 state corporations, Honorable Speaker. And to the interest of my colleagues who were not there yesterday, the report talks about 5 state agencies, Honorable Speaker, being the National Social Security Fund, Communication Authority of Kenya, Child Welfare Society of Kenya, Sacco Society Regulatory Authority, and Kenya Institute of Public Policy, Research and Analysis. Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the House on the generalities that occur across the 5 agencies, Honorable Speaker, in terms of what the committee observed. One of the issues that cuts across is lack of possession and ownership of documents on land and building. There are institutions, Honorable Speaker, who are in possession of documents, but they can't access the land. Precisely, Honorable Speaker, being an institute like the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, which has a title, Honorable Speaker, but they cannot access the land because the Department of Veterinary Services, Honorable Speaker, under the Ministry of Health, under the Ministry of Agriculture, have stopped access of the institute to the land. Honorable Speaker, there are also agencies who have the land, but they don't have the documents, like the National Social Security Fund, Honorable Speaker. The Child Welfare Society of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, has 16 parcels of land. They own the land, but they don't have the title. That in itself, Honorable Speaker, cuts across all the 5 agencies, just to mention a few. So, Honorable Speaker, what the committee was looking at on how best can this House assist these agencies, Honorable Speaker. And that, when I go to specifics, I'll be able to elaborate what the committee felt. Honorable Speaker, there is also the issue of availing of documentation, Honorable Speaker. It so sounds unfortunate that, Honorable Speaker, during the audit, which is never an event, audit is normally a process. It begins by entry. The work is done. The reviewing of the books are done. There is always a management letter, Honorable Speaker, which now stipulates what has been found out and needs clarification. Then a draft is raised, Honorable Speaker, before the Auditor General signs the certificate. It so perturbs the committee, Honorable Speaker, that now when these agencies come before us, they now come rushing with all the documentation as per the audit query. It sounds very ambiguous, very funny, not acceptable. It's a provision in law, in the Public Audit Act. It has a cost one has to bear. And, Honorable Speaker, even in the Article 226 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, does not allow that an agency to hide information from an Auditor General, Honorable Speaker. But it so happens that cutting across various agencies, they mispresent themselves before the auditor, and when the audit comes out with the audit query, which has gone through the various stages, it so happens that now the agencies rush with the files and files coming to appear before PIC or Public Accounts Committee to pretend that now they have the answers. My take, Honorable Speaker, and the committee is we must reprimand these people within the provisions of Section 68(2) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, so that they have to carry the burden and the responsibility that they must inform the Auditor General within the law. That issue, Honorable Speaker, is a reality, and the Auditor General needs not to push, because the law has given the Office of Auditor General power to access information during audit. Honorable Speaker, another issue that comes across is the issue of poor governance and weak internal controls. What do I mean, Honorable Speaker, by this issue? Delay in appointment of board of directors. You find, Honorable Speaker, an agency taking 2 years without a chairperson of the board of directors, taking so long without the enough quorum in terms of the appointees, not the seconded directors, Honorable Speaker. That's the alternate to the PS of Finance or the line minister, Honorable Speaker. We need the substantive board members. It takes too long, Honorable Speaker, for it to happen. What do I mean by this? The committee, Honorable Speaker, observed that the set of agencies who have poorly existed or are considered by no board of directors, Honorable Speaker, and we have an example. The Circle Society Regulatory Authority, Honorable Speaker, did not have substantive chair from 6th February 2017 to 20th September 2018. Such a long period, Honorable Speaker, and if you can read, this year is ending 2018, but if you read in the recent past, Honorable Speaker, you can see what has happened to this agency in terms of governance. It has an issue, and it has been in public knowledge that there were challenges, Honorable Speaker. The Communication Authority of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, the National Social Security Fund, in terms of senior management, were all acting, Honorable Speaker. A whole agency as good as National Social Security Fund did not have substantive staff at that time, Honorable Speaker. not now when they have now failed. But by the time of audit for the year 2018, 2019, they did not have substantive officers at the top. And Honorable Speaker, you will agree with me that an agency has a triangle kind of approach in terms of management. The top management is always one and comes down to the base. So if you have a base without a head, Honorable Speaker, you expect no good results. And Communication Authority of Kenya is an example of those agencies who did not have substantive officers at that time in senior management. Honorable Speaker, that in itself goes against the provisions of the Public Service Act, Cap 185, which cites that lack of properly constituted board of directors to approve the recruitment is the main cause, Honorable Speaker, because all that top management is aligned to the board. The board is the one in charge or charged with the responsibility on appointment of senior managers, Honorable Speaker. In the absence of substantive holders of those offices, Honorable Speaker, it becomes very difficult to align management to the governance rules of the day, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we had various recommendations which we felt as a committee, Honorable Speaker, that within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the Inspector General, Inspector of State Corporations, with the help of the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, should initiate the process of amending the State Corporations Act to make it clear that no entity should be allowed to make any financial commitment without properly constituted board of directors. Honorable Speaker, whereas it is within the PFM Act, Honorable Speaker, which commits you, but the State Corporations Act, Honorable Speaker, which regulates the agencies from day to day, does not envisage that, has not been provided for, and we also want it to be anchored in the State Corporations Act so that it tightens up everything, notwithstanding the provisions in the PFM Act 2012. The committee also, Honorable Speaker, reprimand the appointing authorities for the delays in the constituting of failing to fill the existing vacancies in the boards of various state corporations promptly. And Honorable Speaker, in this case, the responsible persons are the line ministers, Honorable Speaker, who could not move with the speed to replace the existing, the much needed members of the board on time, leading to improper and weak governance and internal controls. Honorable Speaker, the other challenge that cuts across various agencies in the years under review were issues to do with court cases, Honorable Speaker. Court cases are issues, Honorable Speaker, beyond you and I, beyond this House, and the doctrine of separation of powers, Honorable Speaker, does not allow the National Assembly to superintend the judiciary. Once the matter is in court, it's allowed that the court process takes its due process, and Honorable Speaker, it's an impediment. It's a challenge which puts various agencies into a situation which is difficult, especially, Honorable Speaker, matters of land. Most of the agencies having land issues, the dispute ends up in court, and the court cannot be pushed. All we have to say, Honorable Speaker, is that we seek that let the courts listen to cases, give priority to cases which are affecting agencies that are government in nature, so that the matters can be resolved as quick as possible. Honorable Speaker, issues which were raised in various PIC reports calling for the expeditious conclusion of the cases, Honorable Speaker, are yet to be resolved. Dating back to 2008 on some matters, National Social Security Fund, the matter of Embakasi, among other issues, is one of the issues, the cases. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That within 3 months upon adoption of this report, let the Inspector General, Inspectorate of State Corporations, carry out a review of all entities with pending court cases, prepare a comprehensive status report, and submit it to the National Assembly with a copy to the Attorney General, who will initiate the process of fast-tracking the conclusion of the cases within reasonable time. Honorable Speaker, it's only through the Attorney General that we can get in touch with the judiciary so that let them discuss and see how difficult these issues of land and court cases are bedeviling the agencies. Honorable Speaker, we also felt that the accounting officers should strive to embrace alternative dispute resolution mechanisms in the resolution of disputes before going to court. Honorable Speaker, some of the cases in court could be resolved outside the court, and even some of the cases, Honorable Speaker, which we saw ended up in outside dispute resolution after several years. we felt, Honorable Speaker, that let them embrace that route rather than quickly moving into court cases so that it keeps on dragging and taking too long before the matter is concluded. Honorable Speaker, the other challenge which cuts across is the underfunding and low budgetary disbursements. The committee, Honorable Speaker, noted with concern instances, Honorable Speaker, where state corporations that relied on exchequer appropriations were underfunded and low budgeted disbursement despite their budgets being initially approved. Honorable Speaker, what surprised us is the issue of the Child Welfare Society. Child Welfare Society, Honorable Speaker, was allocated funds, but midway, all the funds were removed and was directed elsewhere by the National Treasury. And Honorable Speaker, being an obedient agent, they could not do anything other than living hand to mouth, and they have no any other source of income rather than relying on exchequer. All the development plans that they had were to be shelved, and so, Honorable Speaker, this is a challenge which we would want to ask the National Treasury to play, not to play well when it comes to cutting budgets. They should rather cut half the budgets and let the projects move into the next financial year, rather than depleting the entire budget, so leaving the agents, Honorable Speaker, vulnerable to budgetary controls, which do not allow the institution to move to any direction. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? The committee recommended that the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury endeavors to allocate and disperse adequate funds as appropriated to the state corporations funded by the national government. That's exactly what I've explained, Honorable Speaker. And we felt it's important that National Treasury looks down into such issues, not just to rise and deplete the entire budget. It defeats the logic of budgeting. It defeats the logic, Honorable Speaker, of budgets coming into this House to various sectors, and those sectors, Honorable Speaker, are wiped out in terms of their budgets without reference to Parliament, Honorable Speaker. What is the need for budgets to come to the House? Yet, Honorable Speaker, in the process, disbursement does not arise. In the process, the reason as to why Child Welfare Society was established is to support Kenyan children who are under difficult conditions. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, if you cut their budgets, if they don't establish the various houses that they would want to set up children homes, where do you expect our children who could be under distress be shelved, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, allow me to walk the House on the various 5 agencies as I have discussed, so that individual agency, we can see what happened with it in these various financial years. In the year 2019-2020 and 2018-2019, Honorable Speaker, allow me to take the House through the issues that came up to the National Social Security Fund. There were, Honorable Speaker, an issue to do with cash and cash equivalents. This is an issue, Honorable Speaker, that made the committee to refer this matter for further investigation by the Auditor General. The committee noted, Honorable Speaker, that within the cash and cash equivalent transactions, Honorable Speaker, there was a whopping 100 million shillings, Honorable Speaker, that moved out of the bank but was not represented in the books of the National Social Security Fund. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, it was not possible for the committee to establish whether that was a genuine transaction or where did these funds go to. But, Honorable Speaker, the managing trustee and his team managed to explain to the committee that the issue was a system error, an error occasioned by moving from one system to another, and that error led into 100 million shillings not being transferred. Honorable Speaker, we could not listen to such, and we referred the matter to the Auditor General for further investigation, and she agreed that during the audit of this year, she'll be able to give us the audit of the year together with the findings of how the system misbehaved or behaved, whichever way, that the 100 million shillings was not captured in the transaction. Further, Honorable Speaker, there was an amount of 134,335,975 on payments in the bank statements which were not also captured in the cash book, whose anomaly arose mainly from 2 bank accounts in KCB at main expenditure account and the contribution account, Honorable Speaker, at National Bank of Kenya. The committee felt, Honorable Speaker, the transaction was suspect and we could not, Honorable Speaker, approve the way the transaction had appeared. Honorable Speaker, there was also explanation by the accounting officer that in 2012, an amount of 100 million was the same, Honorable Speaker, that I had explained. And Honorable Speaker, arising from the above observations, the committee had requested that the Auditor General combines the two figures, Honorable Speaker, of 135 and the figure of 100 million to come out in the audit of this year when they carry out the annual audit. Honorable Speaker, the PFM National Government Regulation 2015 envisages that the accounting officer shall ensure any discrepancies noted during bank reconciliation exercise are investigated immediately and appropriately action taken, including updating the relevant cash box. Honorable Speaker, we felt that there was laxity on the side of the accounting officer, particularly this time being the issue of the Director of Finance not having responsibly handled the issues, Honorable Speaker, and the reason having arisen, Honorable Speaker, on the issues of acting senior management. That issue of acting, Honorable Speaker, does not give anyone the strength and ambition to work towards resolving various issues immediately. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker, on the foregoing? That within the current audit cycle, Honorable Speaker, as stipulated in Article 2294 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Auditor General should submit the forensic audit report as requested by the committee. Honorable Speaker, it's constitutional, it's provided for, and Honorable Speaker, within the mandate of the Auditor General, we expect that she will give us the report when time comes in this year's audit. The committee, Honorable Speaker, and then reprimanded the then accounting officer and any other officers responsible for preparing bank reconciliation for breach of reconciliation Regulation 90, subsection 3 of the PFM National Government Regulations 2015. Honorable Speaker, there were issues to do with rent debtors. There is the fund management, Honorable Speaker, had not instituted strong internal controls to safeguard the fund assets against loss. And Honorable Speaker, there is a tenant, Honorable Speaker, who presented fake banking slips amounting to 9,327,627 as rent by the proprietors of Kenya College of Medicine for space occupied in Hazina and View Park Towers. Honorable Speaker, it really perturbed the committee that a tenant can present figures to a level of 9,327,627 in form of payment of rent, and it goes unidentified. It goes unnoticed so long that that money to date is still not with NSSF. Honorable Speaker, the loss of 9.3 million, which I've mentioned, is attributed only to nothing but weak controls set out in Regulation 90 of the PFM, National Government Regulation 2015, on preparation of bank reconciliations. Because if the accountant or the head of finance was quick, was strong enough to do his reconciliations, Honorable Speaker, he would have picked that there is some figures at the end of the month which are missing, and it would not have taken the managing trustee that long to realize that some money were missing, and necessary actions would have been taken. The loss of rental income, Honorable Speaker, totaling to 30,681,000, which was collected by Milligan and Company Limited from the fund's tenants in Nairobi at Bruce House, Hazina Trade Center, View Park Towers, and Nyayo Estate, might be attributable to poor drawn agreements whose loopholes were exploited by agents. Honorable Speaker, it so finds that these tenants also enjoyed the loophole in the tenancy agreement, which could not tie them down, especially Milligan as an agent who could collect money and then ends up with the money into his account rather than depositing the money when he collects into NSSF account, but he could deposit into the Milligan's account so that Milligan writes the check to NSSF. That kind of agreement, Honorable Speaker, is outdated. Of course, it's not the situation now. This is for the year 2018-2019, 2019-2020. But that time, Honorable Speaker, that process and procedure for engagement in terms of contracting was wrong. The management produced before the committee, Honorable Speaker, a decree issued in Nairobi in High Court case number HCCC 859 of 1997, which was NSSF versus Milligan and Company Limited, dated 6th November 1997, arising from a consent judgment where judgment was entered in favor of NSSF against Milligan Company Limited for a sum of 15 million. And the amount was to be paid in 3 equal monthly installments of 5 million each. Honorable Speaker, this remains a story in theater. It has not been actualized. This money is still outstanding. Despite all that long time, various managing trustees have existed, and no money has been received from Milligan, making it, Honorable Speaker, a total loss in the books. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That upon 3 months upon adoption of this report, let the EACC, Honorable Speaker, carry out investigations into the two matters on Kenya College of Medicine and Milligan and Company Limited with a view to establishing whether there was any breach of the law or regulation on the part of the concerned NSSF officers who occasioned and aided in occasioning the loss of 40,008,627, further establish whether the amounts would be recovered from the estates of the proprietors of Kenya College of Medicine and Milligan and Company Limited. So that, Honorable Speaker, let Kenyans not lose any money. Money held with NSSF is not for Kenyans, it's for workers. This is workers' money. People have had to sweat. People have had to toil around to save money. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, nobody should just go to NSSF and say, want to take away the money that belongs to the Kenyan workers. Let this money, let us go a notch higher. Look for the directors of these companies. They should not drive good cars in town, and Kenyan workers are languishing in poverty. Honorable Speaker, the authority did not avail supporting documentation for audit on the adjustments of the 2,638,140 and 3,417,716 under freehold land and buildings and civil works. Honorable Speaker, they were able to avail the details during the committee meeting, but these documents were not availed to the auditors at the time of audit. Despite the process having been elaborate, there having been a management letter, there having been an entry, and all audit process having taken place. The issue is, why didn't they give the documents on time? The authority failed to submit to the Auditor General the ownership documents of its freehold land addition, totaling to about 41,708,000. We're asking, Honorable Speaker, why should they come before the committee and give us the documents? The committee should not be dealing with the documents, Honorable Speaker. The documents were supposed to be with the auditors, and when the auditors are coming into the offices, let them give the auditors the documents. Let them not wait to give the documents to the committee, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, what did we have to conclude? That the then accounting officer who failed to provide the required information for audit pursuant to Section 62(1) of the Public Audit Act 2015 and the DPP should prosecute the responsible officer in accordance with Section 62(2) of the Public Audit Act Cap 4 and 2B. Honorable Speaker, the actions are there. They are in writing in those two sections. Once you fail to give the documents, the section, Honorable Speaker, has prescribed the necessary rules on what you are supposed to do. Therefore, what we did, Honorable Speaker, we simply referred the officers to go and explain why didn't they give those documents then. Honorable Speaker, there was the issue of employee cost salaries and wages, and what we observed, Honorable Speaker, was as follows: that the authority did not avail to the Auditor General the approval and the reasons for payment of bonuses to staff amounting to 9.5 million. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the authority was in breach of Section 621C of the Public Audit Act, which requires that a person shall not, without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under the Act. Honorable Speaker, let me look at the issues on Communication Authority of Kenya with respect to the human resource, Honorable Speaker. The CAK Human Resource and Capital Policy Manual, clause 4.7.2, referred to in the management submission in merit increments, states that employees who have reached the maximum of their salary scales with positive appraisal ratings may be awarded a lump sum performance bonuses equivalent to 1 or more annual increment, but not more than 3 per year, which was invalid in the circumstances. Honorable Speaker, we are in the Kenyan Constitution 2010. Where does the issue of salary lie? It lies with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, not the policy manual, not the human resource manual that is prepared in a corporation. Honorable Speaker, CAK went ahead to reward employees' bonuses without referring to Salaries and Remuneration Commission. What did the committee recommend, Honorable Speaker? That within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the Inspector General State Corporation should recover the overpayment of 4,705,605 from the board members and accounting officer who authorized the payment and the paying officers who paid the amount irregularly in accordance with the law. Honorable Speaker, state corporations are managed by the boards, and it's the duty of the board of directors to know what is being paid out, and the CEOs and various senior management should know what they are paying out. And if they are paying out unlawfully, Honorable Speaker, it's not the duty of that employee to come back and ask for the money, but the person who paid, Honorable Speaker, the board directors who sanctioned the payment, and Honorable Speaker, the policy which they showed the committee was approved by the board members, Honorable Speaker, in a full board meeting. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, it's binding to them. Let them now explain and recover that money as far as the law is concerned, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to move the issues of Child Welfare Society of Kenya in specific, Honorable Speaker, that the Child Welfare Society of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, does not possess ownership document for 16 parcels of land located across the country. It's so amazing, Honorable Speaker, that the society has a vast chunk of land across the country, ranging from Nairobi, Laikipia, Nakuru, across the country in totality. But, Honorable Speaker, the agency does not have land titles. The ownership of several parcels of land, Honorable Speaker, belonging to the society have been grabbed, while others are in court disputes. Honorable Speaker, because there is the absence of the ownership, it's not a must that, Honorable Speaker, some lands, the society has built houses, and when Kenyans develop appetite for land, Honorable Speaker, they walk into your free land. When they see any idle land, not fenced, not housed, they tend to move in and occupy the land. Some is by the rich people. Also, some lands, Honorable Speaker, are occupied by squatters. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the accounting officer, Child Welfare Society, should liaise with the Ministry of Lands and the National Land Commission to ensure that they secure ownership documents for all the society land and report back to the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, is the mandate of the Ministry of Lands, particularly the National Land Commission, to really secure government land and identify that they make sure the agency has the necessary documents. And also we said, Honorable Speaker, that within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the accounting officer should expedite the conclusion of the court cases and fast-track the acquisition of title deeds and submit a status report to the committee. Why did we say expedite what is in court, Honorable Speaker? Some matters that were pending in court, Honorable Speaker, the CEO of Child Welfare Society indicated to the committee like there were people who were keen on resolving matters outside the court. But her hands were tied in terms of resolution. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we felt it's important she rises up the scale and negotiates outside the court so that they resolve some disputes that are rising. Also, there were issues of fencing, Honorable Speaker, where some people have encroached into the land she's not able to access. That is not an issue, Honorable Speaker, to delay and belabor and wait for Parliament to resolve. She should quickly move in, get the police officer. The land title she has is her land, or the land belongs to Child Welfare Society. Honorable Speaker, there are also issues of budget and budgetary controls, particularly on revenue, which I had earlier on alluded to. And I repeat, Honorable Speaker, that Child Welfare Society reported a shortfall in receipts, Honorable Speaker, of 2,611,269,087, which was, Honorable Speaker, 76% of the budget revenue. How do you run a corporation, Honorable Speaker, when you have 76% budget cut out of your budget. The shortfall, Honorable Speaker, which affects the planned activities and impacted negatively on service delivery of the public. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we did recommend that the accounting officer should ensure at all times that the budgets are realistic, achievable, and always adhere to annual work plans, procurement plans, and revenue collection schedules in compliance with Regulation 44.2 of the PFM National Government Regulations of 2015. Honorable Speaker, we also recommended that the National Treasury should endeavor to always provide adequate funds to enable the society achieve its mandate. Because, Honorable Speaker, the CEO explained that the entire 76% was wholly funded by the National Treasury, which eventually, in the morning of a day, woke up and simply took away the entire budget. Honorable Speaker, specific society which I want to move the House to is the SACCO Societies Regulatory Authority, famously SASRA. Financial years 2017-2018, they had an issue, Honorable Speaker, of governance. They lacked the board chairperson. Honorable Speaker, the authority operated with us as a substantive chairperson, contrary to Section 1 of the Mwongozo Code of Governance and Section 6.1, particularly subsection R of the State Corporations Act, Cap 446. Honorable Speaker, running an organization without a chair is a serious issue. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That the committee reprimands the then Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for the delays in constituting the existing vacancies in the SACCO Society Regulatory Authorities Board. This is purely in the mandate of the Minister or the Cabinet Secretary in charge, whom we call to order that he should not allow such an agency to exist, take long, 2 years without a chairperson, and yet, Honorable Speaker, you expect budgets to be undertaken. Honorable Speaker, this is not only within Mwongozo. The PFM Act envisages that you can only take money where the agency is properly constituted and the taxpayers' money are properly safeguarded. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it's an offense, and we call the Cabinet Secretary responsible to order. Honorable Speaker, in the financial year 2018-2019, there was an observation on SASRA on financial performance. The authority's total expenditure, Honorable Speaker, was higher than its total revenue, occasioning a deficit amounting to 45,539,596. This affected the planned activities and impacted negatively on service delivery to the public. Honorable Speaker, this is a unique scenario where an agency spends more than what it has budgeted for. What does it mean, Honorable Speaker? It means the money which is spending has not been approved within the statutes of budgeting process. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, the agency made some income and spent without the approval of National Treasury, without the approval of Parliament. That is against the law. Honorable Speaker, there were poor financial performance, if not addressed through an effective strategy, may lead to severe financial and operational difficulties in the near future. And indeed, Honorable Speaker, when you see what has happened in the recent past on SASRA, the issue has been picked, it began in 2017-2018 and 2019-2020. Had we safeguarded this situation, would not have gone the way last year, this year early, the reports that we saw in the newspaper and the audited accounts of 2023-24 reflections, Honorable Speaker. What do we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That within 3 months, upon adoption of the report, the accounting officer should document and submit a report to the respective departmental committee on the cost-effective strategies devised to enhance revenue collections in order to effectively fulfill its supervisory and regulatory mandate as per the amended 2011 levy order. Honorable Speaker, why did we refer to the departmental committee? Because this is an issue of day-to-day, and we would want to involve, Honorable Speaker, the departmental committee in charge of SACCO Society Regulatory Authority, Honorable Speaker, to be overseeing the budgets, which normally gets, the law requires that every quarterly agencies submit budgets, expenditures into this House. So we refer it back to the departmental committee, Honorable Speaker, so that they supervise this agency on a very close monitoring, so that by the time we do the annual accounts, Honorable Speaker, we would have known exactly what is the position of this SACCO society. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I want to move the House to what we observed in the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis. In financial year 2014-2015, Honorable Speaker, the issue of property, plant, and equipment, the accounting office, Honorable Speaker, was put into breach of Regulation 139 of the PFM National Government Regulation 2015, section, which requires accounting officers of the national government to take full responsibility and ensure proper control systems are in place to safeguard the assets, internal accounting standards, that is International Accounting Standard number 16, which requires entities to disclose sufficient relevant, representational, faithful information about property, plant, and equipment to enable users of its financial statements to understand and evaluate the effective property, plant, and equipment has on the financial position. Honorable Speaker, financial performance and cash flow of the entity and KIPRA, Section 21, which requires the Institute to keep proper books and other records of accounts, of incomes, expenditure, assets, and liability. Honorable Speaker, in a nutshell, what we are saying is the accounts were in a zigzag position. The auditor recommended that, Honorable Speaker, in the audit query, that they were not able to pick specific transactions as and how they were called upon. Honorable Speaker, observation number 2 was the committee noted with concern that KIPRA had the title of the land, however, had no possession of the same since the Department of Veterinary Services had fenced and blocked KIPRA from accessing the land. Honorable Speaker, this calls upon the head of public service to really invite the two agencies and make an order on who should access the land. KIPRA, Honorable Speaker, has the title, but the Department of Veterinary has fenced off the land and stopped another sister agency, which is KIPRA, to access the land. Honorable Speaker, one government cannot be fighting each other right, left, and center, and we call upon the head of public service to come in and streamline the agencies so that each agency who has individual mandate is able to execute without being obstructed by another. Also, Honorable Speaker, the committee noted that by the time of this audit, revaluation of the land had been done, but the institute failed to disclose the value of the land in their financial statements. Honorable Speaker, you can only value the land when you have the title. And since KIPRA has the title of the land, it was able to value the land, but instead they could not disclose the value into the financials against the PFM regulation and international accounting standards, Honorable Speaker. From the financial year 2016-2017, the value of the land is incorporated in the financial statements, meaning, Honorable Speaker, until after we picked the issue is when they had to come up and disclose the issues, the value of the land in the subsequent financial statement, which is wrong, Honorable Speaker. That's an undisclosure, and it has a penalty in law. What did we recommend, Honorable Speaker? That the accounting officer should at all times ensure that the provisions of Regulation 139 of the PFM National Government Regulation 2015 are strictly adhered to for proper asset management. Within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of National Treasury and Economic Planning, Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture and Livestock Development, in conjunction with the National Land Commission, to fast-track and resolve the issue of the KIPRA land. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the board expenses also came up, that the management of KIPRA, Honorable Speaker, disclosed board expenses under general expenses, which contravened the guidelines issued by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board that requires each public entity to report board expenses as a standalone expenditure. Honorable Speaker, this is a way of financial engineering so that you hide expenses and make your financial statements appear very smart. Yet, Honorable Speaker, the board expenses have gone beyond what is allowed in terms of expenditure, the number of sittings you are supposed to sit, and so the auditors picked it as an issue. 2, Honorable Speaker, during the financial year 15-16, the board expenses increased to 10,305,000 from 5,839,000 for the preceding year, which represents approximately 77% increase. This was majorly contributed by the board having numerous meetings in regard to operational related functions rather than strategic related functions. Honorable Speaker, you need to know that a board has a limitation in terms of number of meetings, and those number of meetings cannot be superseded by the board creating its own activities so that the directors can earn some remuneration. Honorable Speaker, we felt that that was against the law, and so we did make the following recommendation: that the accounting officer should always adhere to the provisions of Section 81, particularly subsection 3 of the PFM Act Cap 412A, with regard to the guidance issued by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, which whose standards, Honorable Speaker, stipulates that one has to report transactions within where they need to lie. You cannot, Honorable Speaker, hide information as entries into a major account so that you run away from declaring the right entries. Honorable Speaker, errors of transposition, errors of omission are excuses, Honorable Speaker, which accounting officers want to use so that, Honorable Speaker, they can run away in their financial statements. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion of my submission of the fourth report, allow me to thank the membership of my committee, the Vice Chair, Honorable Caleb Amisi, the members, some who are here. I can see the great member for Kwanza is here with me. I saw Mheshimiwa, the member for Daya was around. The great member for Kaiti is waiting to speak, is around, and all my colleagues who supported me to come up with this report. And this report is fully approved by the entire membership. Allow me to appreciate the Secretariat through the Clerk of the National Assembly and the directors of committees for their tireless support to making sure that this report has appeared full of quality and full of information to the House and to Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and ask the great member of Kwanza, the Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi, to second.
The Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi.
Yes, sir. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity, and you can see, to thank our chairman of the PIC. He has actually given us a very detailed information. We have gone through all this, and the only thing, Mr. Speaker, that we have done is that we have given time frame within which the correction must be taken very seriously. And we also want to say that in some of the cases, Mr. Speaker, the agents may even come before this House so they can be able to effectively do what we can, because there are 5 parastatals, and you can see some of the issues are very, very minor. Some of them are actually source of corruption in this country. Without even having to be explained, the chairman has actually detailed all the items that we have gone through, and I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the other members of this committee to thank chairman for having had this detailed report, this House. And I do believe that the most serious thing, Mr. Speaker, that has come out is a parastatal, or at least an organization having a title deed, but can't access the land. That again is something that others have got the land, but they have no title deed. So the sum total of all this, Mr. Speaker, is actually corruption. Corruption, corruption, corruption. I think I want to also take this opportunity to say that those who actually feel that maybe the committee may not be as effective will be called in this House to be able to do some of the, give some of the answers that actually are so clearing. And again, the other thing is that, Mr. Speaker, and the chairman has made it very clear. You can imagine the governance of some of these parastatals taking as many as 2-3 years to get a chairman or the board. What does that tell you as a Kenyan? It means there's something more than it is. Sometimes they have no chairman. They have no chairman. So how do they operate? Yeah, and I think the chairman has also come out very clear on the same thing. And they are pending cases in court. And I think we also want to urge, and have given them deadline, as I said, that cases which are in court should actually be taken up very seriously, and if anything, they should be solved within 3 months at most. I think that's what the chairman has said, and that's how we have agreed to be able to sort out some of these issues that he has raised. And then, of course, you find yourself, there's a budget which actually they are given money, as the chairman mentioned, and some of this funding you'll find on paper it is too low, or too small, or rather too low. And therefore disbursement again becomes an issue. Again, how do you operate? You're actually not encouraging people to do what is supposed to be done. And therefore, we want, for example, NSSF to be investigated thoroughly on these 100 million shillings that our chairman has just mentioned. And of course, the other thing, as you mentioned, I don't want just to repeat what he has said because he has made it very clear. Imagine fake banking slips in some of these protests. And it's true. I mean, because whoever is handling the cash, whatever it is, he has, whatever is there is on the same thing that's supposed to be there. Fake banking slips. Again, something that I think the chairman has made it very clear. We have actually noted some of those, and we are saying whatever it is, we will be able to deal with it. And therefore, without wasting so much time on this, I want to take this opportunity to thank my chairman for having come out with this detailed report. And therefore, I support the report. And I second the report.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House adopts the fourth report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture, its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following state corporations laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 17th October 2024. A, National Social Security Fund for the financial year 2019-2020. B, Communication Authority, financial year 2017-2018 and 2018-2019. C, Child Welfare Society of Kenya, financial year 2014-2015. D, Sacco Societies Regulatory Authority, financial year 2017-2018, 2018-2019, and 2019-2020. And E, Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis, financial year 2014-2015, 2015-2016, 2016-2017, and 2017-2018. I want to give members who would like to contribute to this particular one the opportunity to do so. But before I do so, Chairperson of the Committee on Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture, I need to commend you. I've never, while presiding, seen a motion so well moved, in detail and with the requisite effectiveness. And I hope all chairs of committees were watching the proceedings as you moved and as you are ably seconded by the Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi. That is how we want motions to be moved, particularly when they concern such reports. You've moved so well that any member contributing has a lot of ease now knowing what this bulky report is about. In fact, I dare tell you, in a number of jurisdictions, a decision would be made straight away. And that really helps not just the House, but also informs the Kenyans watching the proceedings is engaged in. So let me first recognize the Honorable Njeri Maina referred to outside the House as Itungati. And she has refused to of course, tell the House what that font name means. Honorable Njeri Maina, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The name Itungati means true servant of the people, and it is my honor to carry that sacred duty. Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the Chair and the committee for a very well-detailed document that espouses the issues that are bedeviling our parastatals and state agencies. Honorable Speaker, the very good Member of Parliament, Honorable Anyonyi, has said corruption, corruption, corruption. Honorable Speaker, just recently, we have seen the Auditor General flag loss of more than Kenya shillings 9 billion from the e-Citizen platform. A platform that is a one-stop shop for all government services. And I wonder for how long, Honorable Speaker, we will speak about corruption in this country without measures being put in place, without action being taken against the perpetrators of economic violence against this great nation. Honorable Speaker, our youth, our young people are languishing in poverty. They have no opportunities for employment because they are those that seek to drain this country of its resources to the very end of it. Honorable Speaker, allow me to highlight the issues of the Child Welfare Society of Kenya, a very important saga that is mandated with protection, the welfare, the care of our children. Honorable Speaker, in light of the BBC expose, it is so disheartening to watch that in this day and age, we have failed as a country to protect our young children from sexual exploitation. Children as young as 10-year-olds.
Yeah, the Honorable Njeri Maina, I regret, permit me to interrupt, just to intervene in your contribution and welcome a visiting institution which is seated in the public gallery. Honorable members, we have in the public gallery Chemalal Sunshine School from Konoin constituency in the Great Bomet County. On my own behalf and on behalf of the National Assembly, the students, their teachers, and the entire institution is welcome to this house to observe the proceedings. Thank you very much. Honorable Njeri, you can now proceed.
Honorable Speaker, the Child Welfare Society is a very integral part of the very foundations of the future that we seek to be better for our children. Honorable Speaker, you just need to take a walk in Nairobi CBD, where you will find young girls as young as 6, 7, who should be school-going children, that even on days when they should be in school, Honorable Speaker, they are begging on our streets. If you take a keener look into the issue, you'll find that there's someone always at the end of the street who seems to be the one running the show and getting the proceeds that the children raise. Honorable Speaker, why are we allowing this? When children should be in school, when children should be doing perhaps even extracurricular activities that their age mates do, they are being subjected to inhumane acts, Honorable Speaker, to exploitation where they are being recorded for sex, trafficking, to entertain adults. Honorable Speaker, we must ask ourselves as a nation, and we have heard the able chair tell us that funds that had been allocated to the Child Welfare Society of Kenya, the Treasury deemed it necessary to take away those funds and allocate or reallocate them to another vote head. How then is a welfare society mandated to protect our children supposed to operate, Honorable Speaker? Even as we raise the issues of governance, we must fully equip necessary parastatals like these ones to ensure that they can execute their mandate and execute it as per the requirements and the current needs of our nation. Honorable Speaker, my attention is also drawn to NSSF. We have seen recently an audit report where the Auditor General has indicated that over 16 billion Kenya shillings has been lost and is unaccounted for by NSSF. Retirees, Honorable Speaker, they work for many years, saving their meager earnings so that they can have an easier life, access to health care services, so that they can be able to put a meal on the table. But then we have an institution that is so diabolically corrupted, so hell-bent on impoverishing retirees, that, Honorable Speaker, you would be very shocked to learn that over 900 million was paid, apparently wrongfully, to KRA as tax revenue, even after they were tax exempt. Who is responsible for this? That is negligence, Honorable Speaker, and someone must be held to account. I mean, these are both government agencies, KRA and NSSF. So to say that they were unaware that they should not be remitting any tax means that they have failed in their job in protecting the mega savings of retirees. Honorable Speaker, further, they invested Kenya shillings 115 million on a parcel of land, and that title has now been revoked. Honorable Speaker, even a first-year law student will tell you that you have to do due diligence before you purchase any property. It is incumbent upon the buyer to do and execute the duty of due diligence. The Auditor General further flags investment into government bonds that have derogated the fund further and taken away from the bonuses that retirees should be receiving. Honorable Speaker, as a House, and we have heard from the report, we cannot be blind to this. Someone must be held to account. If it is a veil, it must be taken off, and the person who has made those investments that have costed the Kenyan retiree, the persons who are culpable of negligence must refund those monies to the Kenyan retirees, Honorable Speaker. So that in old age, Honorable Speaker, because both you and I will be old at some point, we can be able to afford a kg of rice, and because I don't think we will be having teeth then, Honorable Speaker, at a certain age, so that we can be able to have an easier life and access health care and other social amenities. Honorable Speaker, I commend the committee once again, and I applaud them, and I say that other committees should learn from this very esteemed committee. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Itungati. The Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi, the MP for Buri, will now speak. The Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi will now speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know the point of order my colleague want to bring up. If it's related to the contributor, she has already sat down. Mr. Speaker,
the Honorable Eric Muchangi, my silence means I've not recognized you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So you will remain quiet until I do.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If you continue, the consequences are also in the standing order.
Mr. Speaker, we have something in common with Karemba. Me, I'm national. His was fixed. So most likely he's wondering what this man who has a gray hair speaking in front of him at is a dignified member.
May Honorable Karemba. Eric Muchangi approach the Speaker. Order. Honorable Eric Muchangi, approach the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, let me first of all take this opportunity to congratulate the chairman and the committee for presenting a very well-detailed report. Mr. Speaker, my observation from this report is as follows. One, this report has brought out very clearly the failure by various organizations here quoted in terms of governance.